to show you the things that you absolutely have to have if you are new to camping before you take your first RV trip.
You don't have to have these exact ones, but there's a reason that we have these. These are what we preferred. We've tried a lot of things. These are right now our pick for the best of the things you have to have.
And we have over 30 years of experience camping in RVs. So most of these are tried and true, so just take our word for it.
Your camper will come with a power cord. I recommend a surge protector. Campground power typically is pretty good, but not always. This, with all the electronics in a camper these days, this could save you thousands of dollars if there's a power surge at the campground. You can get a 30 amp or a 50, depending on what your rig needs.
When you first pull into a campground, the first thing you've got to do is get level. If your camper is sitting on uneven ground where one side is higher than the other, you don't sleep well because your head is on one side, but it also prevents the inside of your camper from being level. Like your refrigerator has to be level, so you have to have your camper level. To do that, you can use these leveling blocks. We've had this bag, you can tell it's been through it. They last forever. So once you buy a set of these, they'll last forever. They're called leveling blocks, and you use these and they will stack together kind of like Legos, and you put however many you need under your RV tire and you'll drive up on them. And if you're super unlevel, then you can stack them up. You'll drive your tire of your RV on top of these to raise one side so that your RV is level side to side. You can also use these under the tongue of your RV to bring the front of your RV up. And you can also use these to put under your jack stands. There's stands on each corner of your RV. These go underneath those so that it will give you a good sturdy thing to put your jack stands on, and it will help you raise your RV up to the level that you need. RV leveling blocks, you have to have these.
To go along with those, you have to have a good level. This is one that I just got for my birthday this year. It's pretty cool. Once your red is way out of level, yellow is close, and once it's green, then you are level. Green, you're level there. So that's pretty cool. You need a level when you back into a camp spot, like she said. If it's not level, you can stack those, you can build a pyramid, and you'll learn from experience how many of those you need to get based on your bubble, to get you level when you back up. So you must have a good level. This is my favorite I've ever had. I've tried a 4-foot level, a 2-foot level, a torpedo level. This is our newest one. It's really cool.
I got that one for him for his birthday. If you're looking for a good birthday gift for someone who goes camping, that was a big hit for a birthday gift. The next thing I want to show you is chocks. Chocks come in different kinds. These are the ones, these are our newest ones that we got, and we really, really like these. They're super heavy duty. What you use chocks for is you put these in front of your tires after you get your RV level. You will put this right in front of your tire so that your RV cannot roll. Once you disconnect it from your tow vehicle, from your truck, then you put this in front of it so that your tires can't roll away and you won't lose your camper bike rolling around. It also keeps it from wiggling as much. So chocks just are a safety measure to keep your RV steady and still and not roll away. That would be a disaster camping trip.
Perhaps the worst part of an RV is dealing with the sewage. So I used to always just have a pair of heavy leather or heavy rubber gloves that I used in an RV, but now you can buy these nitrite examination gloves. You can get them you can order them, you can get them several places, but they're really convenient because you can just slip them on when you're doing your sewer hose work, and you don't have to put that on your hands. And when you get done, you just roll them off, and then all the dirt is contained inside. So I would recommend getting a box of nitrite gloves to go with you on any RVing trip. You can use them when you're doing sewer. You can do them if you're doing mechanic work, working on greasing wheel bearings. These are very handy in an RV.
And along the lines of sewer work, you actually have to have special toilet paper for, this one has been opened, you can see we've actually used it, but you have to have special toilet paper that will biodegrade in a Camper is made flushable for an RV system for a camper and made for a campground. You cannot use regular Charmin toilet paper. It has to be RV marine grade toilet paper. No exceptions there. It will mess up your septic system or your sewer lines in your RV.
Another thing you need to have is a tool bag. You don't have to have a lot of tools. You need, in mine, I keep some screwdrivers and a pair of pliers. I keep a hatchet, and I like to keep some tie wraps and a few screws. These are just drywall screws, because you never know when things, you got to be able to fix stuff pretty quickly. And I like to have stuff and know where it is in the camper. So I'd recommend a good tool bag with a few hand tools.
Okay, back to the sewer system. Not only do you have to have special toilet paper, but you also need, we call these drop-ins. These are like sewer treatments, and it is to help with odors. Because you're carrying around all of your wastewater and your black water and your sewer water and stuff with you in your camper, the fumes from that and stuff can go up. This stops the odors. I always think of it
down
just
the solid waste,
just for odors, but it actually also helps break down the waste and treats it. We call them drop-ins, and we always think of them just for odors, but it actually has chemicals in it to help break down the sewer and the toilet paper in your RV.
There are a big variety of sewer hoses. Sewer hose is one thing in the RV world. You get what you pay for. So buy a solid, good sewer hose. We've got this one, but you need to have a good sewer hose. You can get them for $5 or $10, and they will eventually tear and rip, and you can see this one is pretty heavy duty. Always make sure you have a good sewer hose. Another thing you need with your sewer hose is an elbow. This goes into the ground. Most sewers and campgrounds, they will have a fitting at the ground. You take a cap out and you can screw this one in, and that is the elbow. This is a conventional. These have been around for pretty much ever. However, this year, this is a new model, and you clamp that on your thing, you stick this down in that port, and when you push this lever over, it locks it in. So make sure you get an elbow with your sewer kit. If you can buy this one, it makes life much easier.
An absolute must-have when you are going RVing is your water setup. You will have water. If you're staying at an RV park, they will have water that you can turn on, kind of like the end of a water hose. That's a spigot that you can just turn on. But you've got to have a way to get it from the spigot to your RV. So you need several things. This is several things kind of combined that you've got to have for that to work. The first thing and most important is a hose designed for water, for potable water. You can't just get a garden hose out of the garden center. It needs to be for drinking water because of the chemicals that are lining it, and it's made for drinking. This one is a really good one that's a flex, and it doesn't kink. And we've had several over the years. You can buy cheap ones. This one we really, really love. On the end of this is a brass fitting. This goes, the water is, you're hooking this to the spigot. It's going through the hose, and it needs to go into the RV. Without this brass fitting, you're going to go like this into the RV, and it's a lot of pressure pulling down on your RV. It's like a hub, like where
in
it
most
plugs
RVs,
in.
that's plastic, so you don't want a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight and plastic, and you can break it off. So if you get this brass fitting, that makes the water flow up, and you're not pulling so much on the side of your RV. Now on the other end of this, so that's two things that you need. On the other end of this is a filter, just a water filter. The water in an RV park is supposed to be potable, which potable means it's drinkable, safe to drink. But sometimes it tastes awful. Sometimes it seems cloudy. It's just kind of untrustworthy. And basically everyone who camps in an RV park uses a filter to filter their water before it runs into your RV. So you're using their water, it runs through your hoses, but you want it to be filtered first. This is a charcoal filter. It's called an inline filter, and it just makes sure the water is clean before it goes into your RV. On the end of that, we also have a pressure regulator. This one's got a gauge on it that tells you if it's green, good to go, or red, too much pressure, whatever. But the most important part is this regulator. At some RV parks, the water pressure is really, really strong. It's super powerful. And RVs are not designed to handle that much pressure. And it can blow out your water fittings and your hoses and your lines and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to have something to tone that down just a little bit. So you need a pressure regulator. You have to have this to go from their water source to tone down the water pressure into your RV.
I would also recommend a splitter. When we set up, this screws into the fresh water, and then we use one to feed the fresh water. And on the other side, modern RVs in the black tank, they have a clean out port. So we use a splitter, and then I have a whole separate hose, and that's just a hose. We use it to hook up to the black water clean out, and you can basically pressure wash your septic tank. And also it's nice to have access to another hose if you need to rinse your feet off or rinse off your camper side or whatever. It's just nice to have another access to your water without having to disconnect your camper. These are essentials. There's a lot of other things that we could have had here. You need a starter kit, and this will get you started.
I'm going to put a link for all of this stuff just so that it's easy for you to find in the description. All of this stuff can be found on Amazon. You can get it other places too, but we'll put it all in a tidy list so that you can find them quickly.